Greetings, friends, and welcome to Firefly and the Willow Yoga. I'm Rebecca. Today's class is designed to open and celebrate the second chakra, the sacral chakra, also known as Svadhisthana. Today's class will bring energy and vitality into the body and maybe even help you break a little sweat. I'll be using a couple of blocks for the practice, so please keep those handy if you'd like to. Now take a moment, gather up what you need, and I'll see you on the mat.
Just come to the seat of your choice, and we're going to start today with something called Ida Nadi breathing. So this is actually left nostril breathing. So in order to do this, we're just going to take the thumb of our right hand and just block the right nostril. And just allow yourself to close your eyes, relax your shoulders. And then on your own count, take 10 deep breaths in through the left nostril. Allow yourself to breathe fully all the way down into your belly. Allow yourself to arrive here on your mat. Really feel your lower belly expand. Maybe the skin of the belly stretches just slightly. Maybe imagine yourself as you're inhaling, drawing a rich orange light all the way down into your lower belly. Imagine that light filling your lower belly with warmth. And when you come to the end of your 10 breaths, just allow your right hand to come and rest back on your knee. And allow your breath to return to normal. Allowing the feeling of that rich orange light filling the belly. And when we've completed our breaths, we're going to move into Child's Pose. So moving gently with yourself. You can keep your knees close together or allow them to be wide out to the edges of your mat, whatever feels good for you. And then allow the hips to sink back toward the heels, reaching the arms out wide. And just continue breathing deeply down into the belly. Breathing into the back body. Feeling the lungs expand. Feeling the vitality of the breath filling the lungs and the body and the belly. And then using your next inhale, Rise up slightly, allowing the left arm to thread underneath the right as we come into thread the needle on this side, allowing the left ear to rest down towards the mat, stretching the outside of the left shoulder. And then on your next inhale, pressing into the right palm, releasing the left hand back up and threading the right hand under the left. Thread the needle on the other side. On your next inhale, pressing into the left palm, releasing the right hand back next to the left. Bringing the knees in. If you have them out wide, we'll come into our tabletop. Stacking the joints here, extending the spine out nice and long. And then begin some cat-cows, dropping the belly as you inhale. Exhale, pressing the mat away, pulling the belly button into the spine. Moving with the breath here, being nice and gentle with the neck. It's not necessary to throw the head back, but just allow the head to gently follow the spine. And come through this cat-cow for 3 more of your own breaths. And then when you're ready, come back and rest in a neutral tabletop. And we'll walk the hands, just a couple of handprints out in front, rolling those toes under, and then slowly begin to press the hips up towards the ceiling or the sky. Pressing away from the mat, keeping the knees nice and bent here. And bringing your focus back to that lower belly area. Just kind of check in. What's going on with the lower abs here? Maybe we're engaging them to protect the spine. Move your awareness down into your hands, connecting with the mat, slowly sweeping up the body, making that trip all the way from the crown of the head to the tail. And imagine yourself bringing the weight of the body with you back towards the heels. Maybe allowing the heels to come to stillness here. Nice big deep breath. And then bending the knees even more generously. We'll take the gaze up toward the hands and walk the feet up toward the hands. Inhaling up halfway and exhaling, releasing into this forward fold. Bending the knees deeply if you need to. Maybe it feels good to walk the fingertips from one side to the other. Or perhaps you take a ragdoll pose here, holding onto the elbows. So just find your feel good. And then bringing yourself back to stillness, dropping the fingertips back to the mat if you took a ragdoll. We'll take one hand above each bent knee and inhale up to stand, bringing the arms up overhead. Hands come to heart center and then all the way down next to the hips, opening the shoulders, opening the chest, mountain pose, Tadasana. Take a deep breath full of fresh air and vital oxygen here, sending it all the way down to that lower belly. We'll begin to move here into a sun salutation. I'm going to introduce just a little back bend to our sun salutation today. So really grounding down through all four corners of the feet here. Find your foundation, bend the knees just slightly. And we'll begin by inhaling the arms up overhead, interlacing the fingers into temple fingers. And then as we're exhaling, bending back just slightly, sandwiching the ears in between the upper arms. Inhale to come back to center. And then exhale, bringing hands down to heart center and flowing all the way down forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale and fold, planting both hands, stepping back to plank or half plank. And then hugging the elbows into the side body, exhaling all the way down, chaturanga. Hover at the bottom for a moment if you can, and then release all the way down to the floor. Inhaling up, baby cobra, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. Exhale, release. Rolling the toes under, pressing back up through plank or half plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, shooting the tailbone up toward the ceiling, taking the gaze forward, walking up to the top of the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up to stand. Hands come to meet overhead, finding those temple fingers. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands come down all the way down through heart center. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. Planting both hands, stepping back, plank or half plank, pulling that belly button into the spine. Elbows come into the side body, exhaling down. Hover for a moment if you can, and then relax all the way down. Inhale up, baby cobra. Exhale, releasing down, pressing up through plank or half plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, taking the gaze forward, walking up to the top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. And inhale all the way up to stand. Hands come to heart center. Take a moment here just to send some gratitude to yourself for showing up on your mat today, for moving your body, for welcoming this creative life force generating energy into your body. And then we'll allow the hands to sink down in order to sweep back up. Inhaling, arms come up overhead. Exhaling, we're coming into chair pose here. So remember, if it doesn't work for you to have the hands up overhead, you can bring them out front or even to heart center. And as we're exhaling, we're just going to turn the palms backwards, staying in our chair pose, but pressing the air away. So inhaling, arms come forward, out front or overhead. Exhale, pressing back, pressing the air away, engaging the tricep muscle, the back of the arms. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, press the air away. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center this time, coming down all the way, forward fold. Planting both hands, we'll step back with the right foot, coming into a lunge on the left side. And then planting the right hand into the mat, we'll inhale the left arm open, coming into a twisted lunge here. And if it feels better, you can always keep that knee down on the mat. Do what works for you here. Exhaling, bringing that left hand back down to the mat. We'll all drop the right knee now. And then sinking the hips back, pulling back through that left hip, left toes come up from the mat. Maybe if you have blocks handy, you like to use some blocks to make some space in this modified pyramid pose or half split. Rolling forward back onto the toes. Planting both hands, we'll turn the toes under in the back and then allow that heel to swivel around, coming down to the mat and rising up. Warrior two. Find your warrior two. Again, connecting with that lower belly. What's that lower belly doing? And peeling that front knee back so that you can see the toes if you glance down, sinking the shoulders down the back, taking the gaze over the front fingers. We'll drop the elbow to the front knee, sweeping the arm up over the ear, stretching out nice and long, extended side angle. Breathing into the side body, pressing the weight into the outside edges of the feet. And then on our next inhale, allowing ourselves to rise up, front arm comes up and back, reversing your warrior. Deepening into that front knee. Inhaling back to warrior two. And then windmilling the arms around, coming back to frame that left foot. Stepping the left foot back next to the right and coming through a vinyasa if you like, or coming straight to downward facing dog. If your back feels ready for it, you can come into your up dog, remembering to keep your knees and thighs up from the mat. Exhale, downward dog. Nice big deep breath here. And then floating that right heel up and forward. Bring the right foot in between the hands, planting the left hand on the mat this time. Inhale, arms come open wide. Coming into our twisted lunge or low lunge. Exhaling, right hand comes back down to the mat. Taking that left knee down to the mat, maybe bringing in your blocks. Exhale, dragging that right hip back this time, right toes, lifting from the mat, shining the chest forward. Feeling that extension through the back of the leg. And then coming forward, framing that right foot again with the hands, rolling up on the toes in the back, and allowing that left heel to swivel down to the mat, connecting the whole foot to the mat, and then rising up, warrior two. Allowing the shoulders to come together and move down the back. Gazing over the front fingertip. Maybe you even take your gaze along the horizon of your body, glancing back toward that left hand. And then coming forward, gaze coming over the right, dropping the front elbow to the knee, sweeping the left arm up, overhead. Extended side angle. Peeling that left shoulder back, bending into the knee. And then on your next inhale, windmilling the arms around, keeping the knee right where it is, allowing that front arm to raise up. Reversing your warrior. Nice and strong in the legs here. Maybe feeling a little tremble, a little shake. Maybe not. Either way is fine. Big deep breath. And then coming back to warrior two. And windmilling the arms around, coming back to frame the right foot. Planting both hands here. Stepping back to your plank or half plank. And coming through a vinyasa if you like. Everybody meeting here in downward facing dog for 3 breaths. I'm going to move into a plank from here, suppressing into your palms, inhaling to come forward, and allowing that lower belly Again, to stay lifted and engaged here as we press into the palms. Just take a moment here to connect with what your hands are doing, seeing if you can pull the pinky and the thumb together energetically, creating a little cup underneath your palm, just like there's a small bug under there that you don't want to squash. Pressing into the mat, pulling the heart up through the shoulder blades. Engaging with the breath here, bringing in that ujjayi breath. And if you're feeling a little fire in the belly here, allow yourself to, again, imagine that rich, golden, creative light filling the lower belly. Always remembering you can come to your knees here. And then moving carefully and gently with ourselves, we're going to lower the elbows down to the mat in the same place where the hands were. So coming into a forearm plank here. Hands can be intertwined, or you can allow the fingers to be nice and wide. Gazing down toward the thumbs, holding it here for 3 more breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Dropping the knees to the mat, allowing the hips to come up and stack over the knees, stretching the arms out long in front, sinking the chin or the forehead down towards the mat or a block, coming into puppy pose. If you prefer to take a child's pose here, that's also an option. Breathing into that lower belly. Pressing into both palms now, allowing yourself to rise up, walking the hands back slightly, turning the toes under in the back, and coming into downward facing dog. Really sending those sits bones up to the sky. And then bending the knees deeply. You can walk or hop to the top of your mat. Inhaling up halfway. And exhale. Inhaling up. Hands come up overhead. Hands come to heart center. Take a moment here just to readjust. Taking a deep breath. Reflecting on the benefits of your practice. And then from here, we'll inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhaling back into chair pose. Remembering your options for your hands here. Inhaling, reaching out through the fingertips. Exhale, press the air away. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, press the air away. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, press the air away. And then bringing the hands to heart center. We're going to really ground down through that left foot here. Really connecting belly button to spine, shoulders coming onto the back. And as you continue to move the weight into the left leg, allow the right leg to begin to rise up until you bring the right ankle over the left knee. If you need to use something in your space to help you have better balance, that's fine. And then find your focal point, sinking down into this figure 4 pose. If figure 4 doesn't work for you today, just allow yourself to hold your chair pose for 3 more breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Dropping that right leg back down next to the left. We're going to come forward, allowing the fingertips to reach down to the floor. Right leg floating up, coming into standing split or L pose. One nice big deep breath here, pressing out through the heel, flexing the foot, And then exhale, bringing that foot back down next to the left. Allowing the feet to walk out wide to the edges of the mat. We'll just allow ourselves to relax forward now. Crown of the head relaxes down towards the mat. Knees may be bent, maybe backs of the hands come to rest on the mat or anywhere along the legs. Widening the legs here, giving a little bit more space for the hamstrings to release, just relaxing, coming into gorilla pose. Deep breath. And then walking the feet back towards each other on the mat, coming back to hip distance apart, keeping those fingertips on the mat. We'll take a nice big step back with the right leg, coming into our lunge pose. Taking the gaze forward, shining the heart forward, and then allowing that right heel to swivel down to the mat. We're going to bring the left elbow up over the left knee and open the arm up, coming from the bottom up into extended side angle. Find your way into your extended side angle. Bringing that bicep over the ear. And then rising up from here, warrior two. Sweeping back, reversing your warrior. And then windmilling the arms back down, taking them both in front of the left foot this time, dropping the right knee to the mat. Taking just a short moment here in proud lizard. Allowing that left knee to open out to the side slightly if you like. Not taking it low today, just keeping it here, high lizard. Rolling the toes under in the back, we'll shift that left foot back. You can come straight to down dog or take a vinyasa. Taking one deep breath in your down dog, and then shifting the gaze forward. Hop or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up to stand. Hands to heart center. Readjusting yourself at the top of your mat. From here, we'll inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, chair pose, sending those hips back. Nice big inhale out through the fingertips, pressing the air away, engaging the triceps. Inhale, arms overhead or out front. Exhale, press the air away. Inhale. Exhale, press the air away. One more. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Press the air away. And then inhaling, arms up overhead again. Hands come to meet. Coming to heart center. Pulling in through that lower belly. Grounding down through the right leg. Keeping the knee bent. Floating the left foot up from the floor. Bringing left ankle over right knee. Sinking down. Figure four pose. Or again, if this doesn't work in your body, just stick with your chair. Find your focal point, your drishti. And stay here for 3 breaths. Coming back to your breath, your ujjayi breath. And then releasing that left ankle from the right knee. Allowing the fingertips to come forward. Shooting that left leg back, pressing out through the heel, coming into standing L or standing splits. And then bringing that left leg back down next to the right. This time, allowing the hands to come underneath the feet here, so that the backs of the hands are pressing into the mat and the feet are pressing onto the palms. Knees can be nice and bent here. Crown of the head relaxing down toward the floor. And then just extending the knees as much as it feels comfortable here, inviting your weight into the balls of your feet, pressing against the hands, perhaps pulling back lightly against the feet. And then releasing that, taking the fingertips to the mat. We'll take a big step back with the left this time. Exhale, looking forward, left lunge. Bringing that left heel down to the mat, pressing out to the outsides of the foot. Right elbow comes over right knee, and then left arm comes up as we open the front of the body, extended side angle. Inhale up to warrior two. And then reverse your warrior. Keeping that front knee bent, knee over ankle. And then windmilling the arms back down and around that right foot. Planting both hands, stepping that foot back, coming through your vinyasa or straight to down dog. And back to downward facing dog. Taking a break here in down dog for 3 breaths. Or maybe you come to child's pose. If you did find a child's pose here, using your next breath to help yourself rise up from child's pose, back to downward facing dog. Bringing the big toes together here, we'll ground down through the left foot, inhaling right knee up high. Exhale, right knee comes through center, planting the left hand, inhaling the arm open wide. Exhale, bringing that hand down. Again, we'll swivel that left foot down to the floor, building our extended side angle from the bottom up. So bringing the elbow over the knee, opening up through the body, reaching up over the ear. On our next inhale, we'll allow that left arm to just rise up straight over the body, reaching the fingertips up toward the ceiling. Rotating those right lower ribs up toward the ceiling of the sky. And then allowing your right hand to find some place along your leg. Begin to extend that right knee. So now you'll see we've come into our triangle pose. Pressing into both feet here, engaging everything. We'll sweep up from our triangle pose into reverse triangle, dropping the back hand, reaching up to the front. Rounding down through the outside edges of the feet. Big deep breath. And then windmilling the arms around, coming back to frame that right foot. Right foot steps back, come through vinyasa or straight to down dog. Once you find your way in your down dog, bringing both big toes together, grounding down through the right foot. The left heel floats up from the mat. And then exhale, bringing the left foot in between the hands. Planting the right hand this time, inhaling open through the left arm. Exhale, left hand comes down to the mat, rotating that right foot so that the heel is on the mat, bringing the left elbow over the left knee, opening up, extended side angle, pressing into the outer edges of the feet, really extending out long through this arm. And then inhaling, arm comes straight up overhead. And then find some place on that left leg. Begin to extend through the left knee, coming into triangle pose. Smearing those left ribs up towards the ceiling of the sky. And then engaging everything, inhaling, coming up, reversing that triangle. Welcoming the energy of the day into your body. Again, imagining that rich golden light, orange light, filling the belly, filling the body. And then exhale, with milling the hands back down around the left foot. Left foot comes to the back, coming through Vinyasa. Or again, straight to down dog. Big deep breath. We're going to walk the feet up towards the middle of the mat, and then allow the hands to walk back to meet the feet. Heel toe, the feet out to the wide edge of the mat. Inhaling here to rise up halfway. Exhale, coming into a sort of a semi-wide leg forward fold here. And we are going to come into our squat pose from here. So if you like to use blocks for your squat, you might grab those. And so inhaling up halfway. As we're exhaling, we'll just allow the hips to begin to sink down toward the mat. Toes may spill out slightly, that's fine. Bringing the elbows to the insides of the knees. Hands might come to heart center. Palms maybe pressing into each other. Elbows pressing to the insides of the knees, and the knees pressing to the elbows. And again, just connecting to the lower belly here. Breathing deeply down into the belly. Finding some ease in this pose, even when there's effort. And you might choose to stay here, or perhaps lower down into an easy seat pose. Or perhaps if you have crow in your practice or would like to play with that, it's a good place to do that. So if you'd like to play with your crow, bringing your hands out in front of you on the mat, fingers spread nice and wide. We'll allow the hips to rise up slightly, making a little table out of the backs of the arms here, and bringing the knees as close to the armpits as you can. Rolling onto hands, pressing into the mat. And maybe you raise one foot, maybe two, maybe none. Just play. Not taking it too seriously, it's just yoga. And then when you're ready, allow yourself to sink back into your squat. And if you found an easy seat, you might come back into tabletop now. If you're still in your squat pose, you can bring your hands out in front. We'll move the feet back, coming back into a plank pose. And then lowering down slowly to the mat. Allowing ourselves to rest here for one moment with the head on the floor, bringing the hands right next to the chest, extending the legs out nice and long, maybe even picking the knees up and scooting the feet back slightly, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. We're going to come into Cobra Pose. So really focusing on those back muscles here. And so we'll inhale, lifting up with the back muscles, maybe even lifting the hands off the mat slightly here. Exhale, release. And now rising up just a little farther in your Cobra Pose if that feels good for your back. But remembering that we're pulling back against the hands here more than pressing up. Inhale up into Cobra. And then exhale. Release. Forehead comes down to the floor. And we'll allow the hands to come back behind the small of the back as we set up for our Locust Pose. So interlacing the fingers behind the base of the spine, bringing the feet together, pointing out through the toes. We'll begin here by just pressing the knuckles back and away and lifting the chest from the mat. Gaze stays right down towards the floor, about, 3 inches in front of the mat. And exhale, release. Coming back into this pose the second time, this time lifting the feet from the mat if you like. So inhaling, pressing the knuckles down and away, reaching out through the feet, pointing the toes, being gentle with the neck. And exhale to release. Planting the hands back next to the chest, rolling the toes under, pressing up through plank and back into our down dog. Finding any natural movements that feel good here in your dog after those back bends. And then we'll drop the knees to the mat. Shifting the legs out to one side. Coming back to a seat at the back of the mat. And coming into our Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose, so pulling the heels in close to the body here. Reaching the fingers around the feet or peace fingers around the toes. Sitting up nice and tall. And if this feels good for you, just right where you need to be today, just staying here, sitting up nice and tall, feeling that tailbone to crown of the head connection. Or if you like a little more opening in the hips, you can allow the center of the chest to sink forward. Coming forward over the feet any amount. Maybe even snuggling down here. Finding your feel-good spot. If you found that forward fold, inhale, rise up. We use the hands to help close the legs and then come down onto the back. Bringing the knees into the chest, maybe rolling a little side to side. And then reaching through the bent knees, we'll grab either the toes or the outsides of the feet as we bring the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, coming into happy baby. Eventually, maybe bringing the elbows to the insides of the knees. If it feels good, another option is to reach around the legs for a bind, grabbing the outside edges of the feet. Keeping the neck and shoulders relaxed and long on the floor. And then releasing That happy baby, bringing the knees back into the chest. We'll release the soles of the feet to the floor, keeping the knees out nice and wide here. Bringing the feet to the outside edges of the mat. And bringing those arms to a football goal position or goddess position. Just begin to windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Maybe taking it a little deeper each time until finally the legs just fall over to one side, any side is fine. If it feels good, you can always take the foot and prop it up on the knee of the opposite leg. But if that gives any tension in your low back, just allow the legs to remain separated, taking the gaze over the opposite shoulder. And then inhaling the knees back up. Just allow them to begin that gentle windshield wiper motion again until your pelvis feels like it's reset. And then drop the knees over in the other direction when you're ready. Keeping the gaze over the opposite shoulder. Beginning that gentle windshield wiper motion with the knees again when you're ready. And then bring the knees into the chest one by one. Finding any last motions here that feel good for you. And then allowing yourself to extend the legs out long, shoulders come underneath the back. Palms can face up or down as you come into your Savasana. As you feel the body relax and become heavy, sinking into the floor. Bring your focus back again to the lower belly. That place right in between the top of the pubic bone, but underneath the belly button. And again, send your breath, your vital energy, your life force down into this place in your lower belly. See that glowing orange light again in your mind. Filling this lower belly. Lower belly is the seat of the second chakra called Svadhisthana. And this is the home of our creativity, our vitality, our life force. Now bring to mind in this space a wheel with 6 sections. A bright orange wheel gently turning. These 6 sections of the wheel represent the things that often block our creativity, So imagine that in one of the sections, the word judgment appears. Allow yourself to connect with some way that you judge yourself. You might see the wheel continue to lazily turn, watching the word judgment go round and round. And allow that word to disappear, and allowing with it to go your own judgment of yourself. And then in the next section of the wheel, allow the word anger to appear. Think of something that's been making you angry lately. And as the wheel continues to lazily turn, allow the word anger to disappear. And with it, allow yourself to let go just a little bit of that anger. Now see the word hatred appear in another section of the wheel. Hatred, an emotion that we've learned often to push away, but accepting that there's always a little bit of it within each of us. Maybe it's a quality of ourselves that we dislike, or a feeling that we hate to have. Just connect with whatever that is in you. And then allow the word to disappear. Now allow the word jealousy to appear. Connect with some of your own jealousy. Watching the word gently travel round and round. And then eventually allowing it to fade. Letting go of that jealousy you connected with. Now allow the word greed to appear. Think of something in your life you might be greedy about. Everyone has something. And then allow that word to disappear. And let go of your greed. And then the last section of your wheel, just allow something to rise up from within you, something that's blocking your creativity, your vitality, your life force. And let that word appear. Connecting with whatever quality it is that's blocking that creativity for you. And then allow that word to gently disappear. letting go of that blockage. And now taking both your hands, placing them on your lower belly. Feel that orange light begin to grow. Growing out from your lower belly. With these blockages removed, able to freely fill all the corners of your body until you're filled with this rich, orange, passionate, creative light. And now take a deep breath. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, or dragging your thumb slowly over the top of each fingertip. Stretch your arms out long overhead, reaching out through your fingertips and your toes. And then gently rolling yourself to one side, pausing there for a moment. And allowing yourself to stay there, resting on your side if you like, or using your hands to press yourself up to a seated position. Bringing your hands to heart center, or maybe covering your heart. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered for just one moment more. There are so many things that we use our energy to create in our lives. So for today, create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because ultimately we become what we believe. I hope today's practice filled you with vitality and energy and creativity, and that your yoga follows you off the mat.